tonight. High school football under those Friday lights. Corona, Riverside, Redlands in the frame. You Kuiper, Murrieta, they all bring the game. From first whistle to the final score, every big play keeps you coming back for more. The stands are packed, the pride runs deep. Inland Empire never misses sleep. Wednesday night, 7:05, you know the whole town comes alive. Every drive, every tackle, every cheer, Pep got the hottest seat in here. The Inland Sports Show, the Inland Sports Show, #1, no doubt, let it show. The Inland Sports Show, the Inland Sports Show, Pep Fernandez runs the show. Riverside brings heat, Redlands grinding every fourth down beat. You Kuiper makes a stand, Murrieta stays tall. One region, one heartbeat, we love it all. He breaks it down plain, he calls it true. Every team gets a spotlight view. If you want the pulse of the inland scene, Pep's got the place where the story's seen. Wednesday night, 7:05, you know the whole town comes alive. Every drive, every tackle, every cheer, Pep got the hottest seat in here. The Inland Sports Show, #1, no doubt, let it show. The Inland Sports Show, the Inland Sports Show, Pep Fernandez runs the show. Pep Fernandez runs the show. From the valley to the hills, every rival, every thrill. Hear the name and you already know, Pep Fernandez steals the show. Steals the show. Steals the show. Steals the show. Show. Pep Fernandez runs the show. The Inland Sports Show. The Inland Sports Show. #1, no doubt, let it show. The Inland Sports Show. The Inland Sports Show. Pep Fernandez runs the show.
And welcome to the Inland Sports Show, everybody, live and amplified here on Wednesday night. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez. We are entering the dog days of summer. In fact, I think technically summer begins on Sunday, but the show must go on, right? We're going into summer. I know things are going to slow down a little bit. All of our high school and college sports have wrapped up for the season. But at least for football, the high school football season, week 0, August 20th and 21st, we've got games. So we're getting close. We're about 2 months away from the start of the high school football season. So over the next couple of weeks and months, we'll be doing a lot of high school football to preview the upcoming 2026 season. So we're very excited about that. So we will have the show all summer long. We'll do some interviews to preview the upcoming year, maybe even touch on, wrap up some of the spring sports we had as well. But again, a little football, and as we look ahead to the high school football season, we'd love to have you join our team. If you are a local business or a local organization and you'd like to join our team, you can help us share the positive sports stories here in the IE and promote your business or your brand or your organization. We'd love to have you on here. It's very easy. Just send us an email, inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us, hey, you want to join the team. How can I support local sports? What can we do to share all these positive sports stories here in the IE? Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you, or you can always just send us a message on social media. And something football specific, we didn't do it last year, but I've heard from multiple people that they'd like to see it come back, was our weekly Inland Sports All-Stars that we did during the high school football season. So if you're a sponsor, if you're a business or organization, and you are interested specifically in sponsoring the weekly Inland Sports All-Stars for the high school football season, same thing. Send us an email, inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. We did not do it last season, but again, we might bring it back if there's a business or organization that is interested in that. We'll work it out. We'll make sure that comes back for the upcoming high school football season. All right, speaking of football, we've been doing a lot of high school football the last couple of weeks, and every offseason, there's a lot of movement in the head coaching department. And one of our favorite guys, Rick Pontious, is a head coach again. And Coach Pontious landing at A.B. Miller, the Rebels, the Revolution. I was on Facebook minding my own business when I came across a post that Coach Pontious was back in the game as the head coach at Miller. So naturally, I'm like, we got to get him back on the show. The former head coach at Notre Dame made stops as an assistant at Murrieta Mesa, Roosevelt, San Bernardino Valley College, back as a head coach again with the Rebels. So without further ado, here is A.B. Miller, head coach Rick Pontious on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show as we continue to preview local teams getting ready for the 2026 high school football season. He's a brand new coach at A.B. Miller, but he's not brand new to the area. We all know Rick Pontious, the head coach of the Rebels. Coach, first off, congrats on the A.B. Miller gig. I don't hang out on Facebook too much, but I was just minding my own business, scrolling on Facebook, and there it was, Coach Pontious, landing at A.B. Miller. So first off, congrats, and how did this all kind of come together for you and A.B. Miller?
Well, thanks, Pep. I appreciate you having me. It kind of came kind of suddenly, I guess. The AD kind of reached out to me, and we kind of got together and kind of talked and sat down and, went through the process a little bit. And it wasn't anything I was, really looking for. And sat down with him and the principal and felt, like a good fit, very supportive. And that's kind of what I was looking for if I was going to do this again. And, make sure I have the right, people around me to help us be successful. And, just kind of made sense. And, so kind of fell into my lap, wasn't really thinking about it too much. And here we are. So we definitely got a late start, which is interesting, but hey, we'll be okay.
So, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but most previously you were coaching at SBVC and Roosevelt High School. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
So, and I think you just mentioned it, but I'm going to circle back and ask you anyways. You weren't necessarily looking for a head coaching gig, but it seemed like everything kind of lined up. And you're like, okay, yeah, this seems like it's a good spot. I will jump back in as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I always look around every year just to kind of see, kind of what's out there and, see if it even anything you're ever interested in. Because still wanted another shot, to do it. I think once you do it once, I think it kind of never leaves you, and you kind of wanted to, give that opportunity again. But, just like I said, just kind of fell into my lap in a sense, got a phone call from him one day, and we just kind of sat down and talked, and, and it made sense. And then, my family was supportive behind it. And, so I just decided, hey, why not? Like, we don't do this forever. So, see what we can do, and see what I can, get going over there in Fontana. So I'm new to that area. So it's also, that's exciting too.
So, Coach, you mentioned the late start. Some teams, they want the whole build-up, like January, February, weight room, doing spring football. Some teams even have like a spring game. I mean, there's a huge ramp, like, leading to August,
Right.
getting ready for the season. When did you take over the program? And I assume it's only, you've only been there, a couple weeks maybe at the most?
July or April 29th.
Okay.
That's kind of when I officially got cleared and everything. Kind of did a lot of stuff, what I could behind the scenes, from being here, or just anywhere. And then first official day was really May 1st with them, kind of met the kids and got on campus and got to meet them and kind of, get things rolling. And we've really only been going, we did a semi spring ball, kind of like an OTA deal. Just kind of, getting the kids up to speed with the coaches and stuff like that. And, just trying to introduce them, like what we're doing moving forward. Right. And so we kind of took that, very slow. We went, the whole week, from May, I think it was like May 4th, I believe was our first day. And then we'd go Monday through Friday, but pretty much on the field was like an hour and 15 minutes, just kind of walking through things, talking, trying to, again, get the kids acclimated to what we're trying to get done. And, try to just let them know that, hey, it's okay. And I think, not to speed it up, to put the pressure on them or anything like that. Hey, we're learning. You guys are learning. Some of the coaches that I retained from the staff, they were learning. So, everybody was going through this process at the same time. I'm learning them, they're learning me. The coaches are learning, each other. So it's been fun. It's been interesting. We're working hard, trying to, stack the days and make those days up as best as we can. And then, and just, day by day and working and trying to get in the weight room and trying to get stronger. And, unfortunately we're waiting for a coach. So that, there's not much we can do. Anybody that was taking over that program was going to be at a deficit. And so we're just trying to get them up to speed, get them going, believing in themselves and, day by day. So
Make up for some lost time there to get ready for the season.
As much as we can.
Yeah. Well, Coach, last year the Mountain Valley League was wacky. They all played each other twice, and there was like a 3-way tie for first place. And
Right.
But now with this new Valley Conference, I was looking at earlier today. In fact, I just pulled it back up. I was looking at your league schedule, at least the league portion. Dude, it's tough, man. It's you got Ramona, you got Patriot, you got Norta Vista, you got Big Bear, which is they're going to run and they're going to be tough. And Pacific, we saw the rise of Pacific last year. I'm not saying it's not winnable, but I'm just saying, man, you got a really tough schedule, which I would assume as a coach that's exciting, right? Because you got even some good non-league games to get you ready for that competitive league schedule.
Right. And I think too, kind of coming from Marietta Mesa, getting used to that type of, that type of field, that type of schedule that, that we did down there with, McBride. And then going to Roosevelt and running that gauntlet, that is the Big West North or South or whatever they call it, right? Yeah. That in itself. So nothing against the guys that we're going to face. They're good friends. I know the coaches at Ramona. I know the coaches at, Norta Vista. Me and Coach Fowler go way back. When I first started coaching, he was on the staff at Patriot. So all that goes back, and Pacific is doing some great stuff. They're trying to rebuild a program, and Big Bear is always Big Bear, right? Everybody knows, you get to play them, and thankfully they come to us first. We don't got to travel up the mountain yet. But I think it's just part of the process, right? Going into that league, I said they've had some success, so they're gonna bump up a little bit, which is great. Graduating a lot of the guys that they did, over those 3 years that they were successful. And they've been, coach did a good job with them, and they've been successful a lot longer than 3 years. But having that preparation that I've gone through, the things that I've seen, and being at the college level, and help kind of turning that thing around a little bit, in the little bit of help that I gave them, and I think those things have all prepared me for this. So you talk about getting a late start. We were at San Bernardino Valley last year. June 9th was our first day of any type of football activity. So very, very similar, right? So I kind of took the blueprint that, Coach Griff did, and kind of taking some of that blueprint there and taking a little bit of pieces here and there and trying to melt it together the best we can and be successful and see how this year plays out. I know we're behind the eight ball, but again, that's no excuse. In like 60 days or something, we're getting ready to play, Sanji for, game 0 and on August 21st, and we got to be ready to go, and they're going to be ready to go. So, when the ball kicks off, hopefully we're back on a, equal playing field for them.
Coach, I think you brought up a great point. Some of your previous stops, of course, we mentioned Roosevelt and SBVC and Murrieta Mesa, obviously, CIF champions, and they've had a ton of success. How do you feel like, just being at those places has made you a better coach? Because that's all of those places, that's a very high level of football. You've been around some great coaches, great players. How do you feel like you're a better version of a head coach now here at AB Miller, having been in those places?
I think, when you first get, when I look back being at Notre Dame, I didn't know what I didn't know, right? And being a new head coach in a sense, and trying to build a program and you made it a little bigger than it was, right? And it's just day by day and kind of building the bricks, at Mesa and, with Coach Crone at Roosevelt, just understanding the process and just kind of getting back to the basics and also knowing that it's a little bigger than just wins and losses with them, and you build it within with the right people. And then, at San Bernardino Valley, getting to know those guys you get to know them on a different level. So it's more personable, and it just kind of, everything kind of goes back to the whole adage of why you're doing this, why are you coaching in the first place? And I think that being back in Mesa and then going to Roosevelt and then getting that experience and kind of seeing, what that looks like, and then getting the college experience at the same time, it's a very humbling process. And I think just the growth within myself of understanding that, hey, I'm going to play some really tough competition, right? But at the end of the day, I got to get them prepared the best way I can. And, facing them and then, turning around on a Friday night and playing on a Saturday afternoon, and being able to do both and very blessed to have the opportunity. So I think just really it comes down to allowing myself to grow. I mean, being uncomfortable, after leaving Notre Dame, went down to Mesa, and I wasn't sure, I lost my mom, and, I wasn't sure if I wanted to coach again. I didn't really have the passion, and those kids, shot me with a bunch of adrenaline and allowed me to, find the game again. And then, going to Roosevelt with that challenge, like I took that personal, and really wanted to do my absolute best there. And then, being at the college, again, that was a huge challenge. I was uncomfortable all year long because I didn't know what I was doing as far as like the scheme of college football. Coaching is coaching, but there's so much more behind it that I got to learn. And, I credit Coach Griff and all the coaches that I was around during that time there too. So it allowed me to, again, just grow. And I wasn't afraid to be uncomfortable. And I think that's been the biggest thing is my growth of, I hate to say like maturity, but you grow up a little bit. And I think, as long as I keep doing that every year, I think, at the end of the day, I'll be okay. So,
Coach, if you were going to describe your brand of football, how you want to see the Rebels play this upcoming fall, how would you kind of describe like the way your football team would play?
Well, I mean, we're young, and I think that's the great part because I can really get in there and kind of mold them up the way we want it. I want us always to be physical. I'm a defensive guy at heart, so any type of that side, I want us to be physical. I got Coach Garcia. He was over at Ontario Christian when we played them in the playoffs. So, they're able to, get him out of kind of semi-retirement. He, decided to come coach. So his brand of football and my brand of football kind of mix. And then I got a young coordinator, Coach Dickey from Redlands. He was over at Redlands last year. So just, being physical, try to play fast as we possibly can, eliminate mistakes and take the thinking out of the game for the kids. And I've noticed just over the years, if you can get them, play fast, play physical as they possibly can, right, to their highest ability, I think we'll be okay. But, fast, physical, try to play mistake free. I mean, everybody's going to, have their mantra of like, hey, we're going to be a physical team. We're going to pound. Hey, at the end of the day, the person that makes the less mistakes, and that's kind of where we're at right now is we're trying to make, kill the mental layers and learn and be tired and condition and just be able to get better every single day. So, right now, and just play fast, play physical, play the best ability that these guys can, and we'll see how this year plays out. So I'm excited for them. I got a great group of kids. They're hungry. They're definitely hungry. They're really wanting it just as much as everybody else. But I think it's their turn now, right? They saw the seniors have that success last year and get to the semis, and people before them, and I think it's their turn. But again, they don't know, they don't know how good they can be yet. So it's just trying to fine tune that and keep them, dialed in and, get better one day at a time and, 1% better and stack bricks and just build the house the best way we can. And we'll go. I think we're going to surprise some people, right? We might. You might look at us and we're not going to pass the eyeball test. But I think hopefully, we get in our groove and we get after it and we're able to be competitive in that new league we're moving to. So.
Coach, having sounds like a younger team, are those 5 non-league games maybe a little more important this season for you guys in terms of, hey, these young kids, they're going to have to grow up a little bit in those first 5 games if they're going to be ready to see Ramona and Norte Vista and Patriot and some of those teams, when you get to league action?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we got Sanji. I mean, they got, Coach Collins. I know Coach for a long time now. So, and then we get to play Citrus Hill. Coach Geringer's doing, he's done a good job over there, and they'll be ready to play. And then we got Corona, which not an old no nemesis of ours down at Mesa. It would be a little different being on that other side of the Mesa Corona games, right? And then we got Fontana. That's going to be a big rival game. Yeah. So that's interesting. I've played them before, matched up against Coach Gonzalez and them. And then Desert Hot Springs. So we play some decent teams. We're not playing anybody that's on our schedule. It's like, hey, that's a guaranteed win, and so we're going to have our work cut out for us for sure. But I think, the Citrus Hill game, the Corona game, the Fontana game, they're going to prepare us a little bit. Those guys will be ready. They've been together for a little bit. I know Corona just got their new coach, but he's been on that staff, so he knows the kids. And I think they're going to prepare us the best way we can, and we'll see where the chips lay at the end and see how we do.
What do you think is key for a young player to kind of grow up and maybe not have a lot of playing time, but to feel like they belong out there and feel like they're comfortable out there? What do you think is the most important thing for like a young player who's going to be out there seeing significant snaps, for this team?
Well, I mean, you look at examples for our quarterbacks that we have in the room right now. None of them have started a varsity game. So we got a junior, a sophomore, and then we got a couple freshman kids that are out there working. So I think biggest for them is confidence. Yeah. That's going to take us a long way. So yeah, it's going to be ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and we're going to make a lot of mistakes. Yes, absolutely. We do it every day. But it's just they're willing to work, I think, and then their confidence. I think, getting them to understand, like, one, they're learning a whole new style of offense and a whole new style of defense that they've done before. They were traditionally a run heavy team, and we're trying to bring the balance back. And so, just working on with them, it's been a confidence thing, but a lot of credit to them. They're not giving up. They're there every day. They're clocking in. They're bringing their hard hat. They're bringing their lunch bill. They're ready. They're ready to go to work. And I give them a lot of credit. They've been busting their butts, over the last couple weeks now in the weight room, and just slowly trying to build, but confidence. It all comes down to confidence with them. We've had some good practices and bad practices, and how do they respond and how do they bounce back? And I think that's going to be big, when the season hits, because we're going to go through that roller coaster of 4 quarters, and how do they respond and how do they get after it after that? And when things go bad, what do they do? And when things have gone bad, and so far, they haven't held their head. They haven't, pointed fingers, and we're just trying to build that family environment, and just let them know that we're all together in this thing. And again, let's see how this thing shakes out, when we're done, the end of October. So hopefully we're fighting and we're getting in the playoffs, and maybe we'll build that confidence and take off and, surprise some people, and hey, who knows? So.
All right, finally, Coach, speaking of like building confidence, building family, it sounds like, Fontana's a blue collar town, right? Like you're kind of having that blue collar mindset with your team too, like the guys who want to put in the work, not afraid of the work. They want to go out there and get better. It sounds like those are the guys you can win with, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely in the room. Again, it's just they don't have the experience that others teams have right at this point, right? And it's kind of almost made me think of like going back to if you're starting up a varsity program. Yeah. And you get those kids that want to play and they want to be a part of something. They want to be a part of something great, but they've never had that opportunity to play on, underneath the lights. So it really, that's what it's felt like for me, is like, hey, we're almost starting over brand new. And getting the kids, again, building up their confidence. And we got some pieces. I mean, we got, some decent kids, that work hard, and, that I'm excited about. Can't wait to kind of put on the pads and see kind of how things kind of materialize a little bit. But I think overall, that's the feel that I'm getting. And, we just one day at a time has been our mantra. We're just trying to, go to work, clock in, do our thing. And at the end of the day, did we get a little better, or, did we step back a little bit? It's going to happen for us this year for sure. But we'll keep at it. And again, I think we're going to do some decent stuff this year. I think we're going to surprise some people, and and having that little familiar background with the 3 tough teams in that league a little bit. I can kind of prepare the kids a little bit of like, hey, here's what we're going to see. Especially against Norte Vista, like you can't simulate that. Hopefully Ken's going to be nice to me and, not beat this up too much, but, it's going to be fun, one way or the other. So, and I think just, one day at a time, let's see how this summer ends out. We come back, we're on dead period in about a week, give them a couple weeks to kind of rejuvenate. And I think they'll come back even more excited because they know, season's upon us, and, we'll get after it from there, and we'll see how we do. So.
Yeah, that week 0, I don't know how you feel about it, but it always sneaks up on me. I'm like, it's 100 degrees outside. I'm like, how is it football? Is it really football? Like, are we really having real games now? So.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. It's like hit and miss, it's a blessing because if you set up the schedule right, you get that bye week, week 5 or 4 or whatever it is. But, so we'll have to play a game. We'll play our homecoming game before we jump into Ramona, and we got to play. The great thing is we play Ramona, Norte Vista, and Patriot all on Thursday nights. So our schedule will pretty much stay the same for the kids, so they won't have to kind of bounce back, once we get into the league. And then, actually, all 4 of our first league games are all Thursdays. So I'm actually okay with it, because we can, steal the day and watch some film and prepare a little bit on, Saturday, and, do a lot of, in-house stuff. And then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of get after it on the field. But Yeah, week 0 does come by fast. It really does. You look at school gets out, and then all of a sudden, like before you know it, blink, here it is, school's back in, and you're playing a game in 2 weeks or something like that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. It's like, oh, summer's starting, and then it's
yep,
like, oh wait, we got games coming up next week. Like it's just crazy
yep,
how
yeah,
quickly
it is.
week 0 comes up on us. Well, Coach, listen, congratulations on the AB Miller gig. Excited for you and the Rebels, and happy you're a head coach again in the IE. So
Yep,
we're fired up
yep.
about it.
Well, I appreciate it, Pep, and again, thanks for your time. You do a great job with everybody out there. I know we ran across each other a lot last year. You doing the San Bernardino Valley games, and but I'm sure I'll see you around, and come out if you guys can come out, come check us out, and get us on the show, and we'll see. Hopefully we can do some great things for you guys. So appreciate it, and again, thank you for everything you do, Pep. Appreciate you.
You got it, Coach. That is Rick Pontious, the new head football coach for AB Miller here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
Always good to catch up with the one and only Coach Pontious at AB Miller now. All right, it's going to be a short and sweet show tonight as we enter the dog days of summer. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, though, we're going to have Cheri Thompson from King High School Softball, just capped off a great high school career, taking her talents to the University of Kentucky. We'll be back here on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody, live and amplified here on Wednesday night. Next up, our next interview is with Cheri Thompson from King High School Softball. We just put a bow on the high school softball season, just had the championship games. And now we're looking back on a lot of our local talent that's taking their talents to the next level, including Cheri, Division I scholarship to the University of Kentucky Wildcats. And we'll have a lot more on local athletes signing scholarships in the next couple of weeks here on the Inland Sports Show as we find our way through the summer, right? Told you we'll do a lot of high school football preview stuff during the summer. We'll also interview a lot of athletes signing scholarships, taking their talents to the next level, playing college. So right now, we want to check in with Cheri Thompson from King High Softball right here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show as we kind of recap the CIF Southern Section spring season. One of the top softball programs again in the IE, of course, the King Wolves, and one of their star players, Cheri Thompson, taking her talents to the next level. Cheri, congratulations on getting a scholarship to the University of Kentucky. I do want to talk about the Wildcats. That's a big-time program. But as we put a bow on your high school career, you guys had a great year at King High School this year. When you look back on specifically your senior season at King High softball, what's gonna stick out for you? What were some of the memories that you made?
Some of my favorite memories were definitely just like the girls on the team, and especially like the senior class of all like our leadership skills coming together and like really working together to like lead our team to success. And I think that was it played a big role into our success on the season for sure, as we had like one of our best records in one of our seasons. So yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have your season schedule up in front of me, but I think you guys almost beat Norco. I think it was like a 1-run game when they played at your place. I mean, like, you guys were elite. You're one of the top teams this year. Why do you think you guys had so much success at King this year?
I think honestly it was just the compatibility of like us girls working together to perform at the highest level. And I think once we learned each other's like skills and how we respond to different things in the game, I think it was definitely played a big role into us winning games for sure.
Now listen, especially King High School, but I feel like high school softball in general, nobody has more fun than softball players and softball teams. Like, obviously you have to enjoy playing it, right? You have to have fun and enjoy it, but how much fun did you have this year?
Oh, so much fun. The energy from everybody is insane, especially on the softball field. It's just next level. So much fun.
So when you picked Kentucky, did it allow yourself to maybe enjoy your final season at King a little bit more, knowing like, I'm not going to stress about this. I know where I'm going to be going to college. I'm excited about the opportunity. I just want to go out there and have fun and try to win some games.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely knowing that I have the next level planned out was definitely a huge weight off of my shoulders, but also being able to know like the type of school that I'm going into and being able to produce and be locked in for my freshman season for sure.
So let me ask you about Kentucky. I mean, what was it about the program? Was it, the location? Was it the campus, the facilities, the coaches, or maybe it's a combination of all that stuff? But what really made you feel like Kentucky is home? It's the new Riverside.
Yeah. Honestly, it was everything. I mean, the kind people out there, just anywhere you go to, local Starbucks or anything, they're always just very welcoming and kind, and just kind-hearted people. And especially the coaches, they're very welcoming, very focused on making their team the greatest that it can be and competing. And just like the type of people they are too, not the type of people to go out of their way for their girls and their teammates and who they're pouring into, especially like the area, so pretty, the country. I love that vibe. It's definitely different from California, but something that I'm looking forward to for sure.
Cheri, when you were looking at different schools and Kentucky kind of set itself apart, I mean, did you know instantly, or did you have like a short list of schools that you were picking from?
Actually, Kentucky was my very first visit, and just the second I met everybody, I stepped on campus, and just meeting all the girls, it was a feeling for sure that it was going to be second home.
So was that always the goal when you playing at King High School and of course doing the travel ball thing? Was that always the goal? Was to get a scholarship and specifically Division I would assume. I mean, get that D1 scholarship somewhere and get your education paid for.
Yeah, definitely was one of my dream goals for sure. Definitely didn't know exactly how I was going to plan out of what school or what area, but God had His time and purpose, and it all worked out just as it was supposed to be, and it was awesome.
So obviously you're fired up to have a D1 scholarship, but how excited were your parents and your family that, you were able to take softball and turn that into a vehicle, a way to, get your education?
They're so excited for me. They're my number one support system for sure. We call it our core four. So we're always together. We're always supporting each other. We're always working. And they had such a big role in this too, just as much as I did.
You know, because I know the high school softball season's grueling, but the travel ball season, I mean, you guys are like always on the road in some crazy tournament somewhere, and like a lot of early mornings and late nights, and you know, traveling and gas money, and you know, I mean, it's a whole thing. Like, so how rewarding was it that you know you put in all that time and effort and money too, that it paid off like this?
It was crazy. Just knowing that my family made a lot of sacrifices for me to go as far as I did in the sport and to be able to play at the next level. They made so many sacrifices for me and our family, and definitely financially for sure. So just being able to know that I got that scholarship, I'm glad I was able to do that for them as well.
All right, so Cheri, let's look ahead at Kentucky. So, you know, based on your conversations with the coaches, I know you still got to go in there and battle and you know try to win a starting spot or however that looks like. But have they said anything about how they want to use you, your role on the team, what position? Could you come in as a freshman and compete for playing time? Like how that might look for you next year?
Yeah, I definitely, based off the conversations, I believe that I could come in and compete for a spot freshman year. Just have absolute confidence in myself to be able to do that for sure. I'm going to be used as a shortstop, third baseman. I'm pretty versatile on the field, so I can really, you know, use my tools anywhere. But as for now, that's where I'm heading at for sure.
So what do the next couple of months look like for you in terms of, do you get to shut it down for a little bit and just try to, you know, enjoy your family and relax? Or is it all softball because you want to be ready, you know, for your first season?
Yeah, I think it's a good balance for sure, being able to spend the but close to the last memories with my family and just really cherishing all the memories and moments we get together, but also being ready to dial in and lock in to be able to come in and compete at Kentucky.
All right, Cheri, last question. If you could say something to yourself or maybe a King High freshman, you know, 4 years ago, you know, like what kind of advice would you give yourself, you know, going through the whole recruiting process and trying to compete in the Big Eight against some of the top players in literally the whole country and, you know, getting a starting spot on the varsity level? I mean, what would you say to yourself or maybe an incoming King freshman in terms of maybe the work it takes, the perseverance, the attitude, the mindset, all those sorts of things to be successful?
Yeah, I'd say definitely being able to be confident in yourself, not relying on other people to believe in you, but you believing in yourself. It was a big one for me. And also just knowing that God has his plan in everything. He has a hand in everything. And knowing that every failure that you receive in this game, which there's a lot, it's not to put you down, but to teach you a lesson and to be able to put you through it, because God gives his trials to the strongest people. So just to keep pushing and to keep working, give 100% in everything that you do.
Okay.
And just really go out there and have fun while you're at it. Enjoy what you do, love the game, and just love the people that you meet on the way.
That's awesome. Good answer there, Cheri. And I was just thinking about it. King Wolves, KW, Kentucky Wildcats, KW. So I guess you're in a roundabout way, you're keeping it in the family, I suppose.
Yep.
Although, like you said, Lexington's a lot different than Riverside, but apparently they have Starbucks over there, so I think you'll be okay, right?
Yeah, I'll be good. That's for sure.
All right, Cheri, congratulations on the D1 scholarship to Kentucky, and congrats on an awesome high school career at King.
Thank you so much.
You got it. That's Cheri Thompson here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
All right, Cheri Thompson going to Kentucky. Congratulations. We're going to take another quick commercial break here on the Inland Sports Show. When we come back, we'll talk a little World Cup soccer because why not? We'll be back here on the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
We're going to start with the World Cup. And of course, everyone's celebrating Team USA picking up a 4-1 victory versus Paraguay in their opener at SoFi Stadium this last Friday. This upcoming Friday, they will get Australia in their second game. But it was a huge win, a dominant performance for the Stars and Stripes. And I'm bringing it back to the NFL because not only was it at SoFi Stadium, home of the Rams, home of the Chargers, but of course they had to find our guys up in the press box because Jaden Daniels, the pride of Cajon High School, he was up in a luxury suite at the big USA game, along with Jackson Dart of the Giants, Jared Goff of the Lions, and I think Puka Nacua of the Rams was also in that same press box, man. So even our NFL guys couldn't stay away from the tradition and the majesty, right, of the World Cup. Even the NFL's got ties to the World Cup, and again, USA will this upcoming Friday will take on Australia, the Aussies, in their second group stage game. So we have the World Cup. We're all proud of our Team USA. And then we had UFC Freedom 250 last night at the White House. If you guys did not see this, I'll be the first one to admit, I'm not a huge UFC guy. I catch the fights when I can, but it's not like appointment viewing for me like NFL is or college football is for me or World Cup. But man, it was a spectacle. I've never seen anything like that. I was glued to my TV for 3 hours, and that championship game, or the championship match between Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria, dude, it was a war, man. It was a battle. Finally stopped after the fourth round. The American Gaethje won, but it was the whole spectacle. Bald Eagles, Travis Pastrana, and the Nitro Circus. I mean, it was like 80,000 people outside of it. Like, it was insane, Patrick.
Inland Sports.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. I was hanging out with my boy Patrick in the morning on KCAL 96.7 FM every Thursday and Monday and Thursday morning. And right now, during the World Cup, every weekday on KCAL 96.7 FM and Cola 99.9 FM, you can hear my World Cup recap. It'll play during the 9 a.m. and the 4 p.m. hour on both stations. So if you listening to music while you're driving around, you like the World Cup, you like soccer, check it out on KCAL and Cola, my World Cup recap every weekday on KCAL and Cola. So check that out. In fact, the one that was airing earlier today sounded like this. Let's kick it. It's your World Cup recap. I'm Pep Fernandez from the Inland Sports Show. The stars were shining on Tuesday as soccer's biggest names performed on the world stage. Leo Messi and defending champion Argentina opened the tournament with a 3-0 victory versus Algeria, and Messi netted a hat trick. All 3 goals for Argentina. Messi is now tied for the most goals scored in World Cup history. French soccer star Kylian Mbappe tallied 2 goals to help France defeat Senegal 3-1. And superstar Erling Haaland from Norway put 2 in the back of the net, lifting Norway to a 4-1 victory versus Iraq. One other game on Tuesday night as Austria bested Jordan 3-1. I'm Pep Fernandez with your World Cup recap. All right, so that was the World Cup recap on Cola and KCAL earlier today. That'll do it for this edition of the Inland Sports Show. We're going to get out of here. It is summer. I know you guys have a lot of cool summer plans and fun things to do. We will continue the show throughout the summer. A lot of high school football preview stuff. We'll do some interviews with athletes signing college scholarships, all that kind of fun, positive stuff. If you'd like to join our team, like a local business or organization, you want to help us promote these positive stories in the IE, we would love to hear from you. Send us an email, inlandsportshow@gmail.com. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Good night.